Hi, my name is Marissa Van Clay.
I'm Brandon Stanley.
I'm Rob Kasmar.
I'm Christopher Weingart.
My name is Marissa Matoyer, and I am the editor,
co-director.
I'm the director of photography.
I'm the producer.
The co-director of Word on Fire's
Heaven in Stone.
Heaven in Stone.
Heaven in Stone and Glass.
This project in particular kind of began around 2019 when Notre Dame burned in Paris. And Word on Fire approached us shortly afterward about a project that was really a passion project of Bishop Barron's.
This is based off of Bishop Barron's book by the same title, Heaven in Stone and Glass, that was originally published in 2000. And so as we were working on the script in pre-production with Word on Fire, we realized that there was just more that could be shown than in just a 60-minute length documentary. And so we wanted to really work this into a feature-length documentary. And so part of the changes was we also worked in these different asides with Bishop Barron.
The whole film, it was written ahead of time. So Bishop wrote the thing after his sections wrapping up. Bishop sort of like talks off the cuff, and I had the privilege of being able to ask him those questions. It was a lot of pressure at times because sometimes I didn't know what was the right question to ask. And so creatively it was exhilarating, terrifying, but really fun.
We had initially planned on asides, but I think they work wonderfully in pulling us out for a moment to give us sort of this real-life glimpse at what it's like, not quite behind the scenes, but also just more off the cuff, less scripted, less stringent with what we're showing there. While Rob and I were directing the piece and were in charge of figuring out the story and how to implement all of this, it was very clear that Bishop Barron was the theologian. And so even though we spent large amount of time researching the cathedrals and learning from tour guides and from books and from online research, there were still elements that Bishop Barron would pull out that we had no idea about.
It is just so evident how passionate Bishop Barron is about these cathedrals, how much he adores them and loves them. He lived in Paris for a time while he was doing his doctoral studies, and while he was there, he was able to become a tour guide at Notre Dame in Paris at one point, and he just was able to really deep dive into it.
The rose windows are really a centerpiece of each of these cathedrals, and they're very important to the story that Bishop Barron is telling in the film. We really wanted to show those rose windows in their full glory. You know, you want to see that rose window when the sun is full blast behind it, really lighting it up and making it glow and really highlighting all of the different artwork, the different colors that are, you know, a craftsman by hand so, you know, carefully put in. And so we were constantly monitoring the situation in the background. You know, we had a schedule where we're filming different things throughout the day. But when that rose window, when the sun got behind there, you drop everything and you film that.
We'd see this rose window from the ground. It's like, oh, that's beautiful. And then we'd walk up and we'd be walking along this very narrow ledge, and we'd turn a corner and suddenly the rose window would be there right in front of us, just 5 feet away from us. One of the pieces of stained glass we were actually able to reach out and touch.
seeing that light come through the stained glass is us feeling the light of God coming through. And I feel like for me, showing that light and showing that moment of just vibrancy and color, it just shows how much life and color God brings.
The rose windows of the cathedrals are hugely important to Bishop Barron, as they rightfully should be. These rose windows tell these incredible stories of the faith. And so it was really important to us to make sure that we captured them well. And so there were also a lot of gear considerations for that. We got to have a case of just giant lenses that we brought with us to make sure that we're getting all of the beautiful detail, so that, I mean, detail that you can't even see from the ground.
I think the heart of the visual approach was really the camera needs to help make these cathedrals feel as alive as they are to someone who's witnessing them in person. So the idea of this camera having a very stable sort of floating movement throughout the cathedrals was very important. We opted to use some very specific tuners that actually go behind, basically between the sensor and the lens.
We wanted the whole film to look more like a film. We ended up selling on a Super Baltar, which I wasn't actually familiar with those lenses that much, but we fell in love with it, and it really just adds this organic feel because it's all done in camera.
But they affect the quality of whichever lens you choose to use, and they add really unique warm glow that we just thought would be very fitting for these buildings.
We filmed some sequences there in the cathedrals on black and white Super 8. Pulling that in not only as a storytelling device, but also as a way to break up some of the footage and give it a grittier, more tangible feel, really enhanced the piece. And you know, personally, I'm partial to it because it's actually shot on Super 8. It's not using effects or anything else to alter it. It's the real thing.
I was able to try to find some actual footage that we got that matched the Super 8 footage that Brandon filmed. And so we have these really fun and intricate match cuts from the Super 8 into the actual footage to emphasize how Bishop Barron learned about this when he was back in school, and how here we are here today, and he's sharing that knowledge with us and showing us why he loves the Gothic cathedrals.
There's two main characters, and the two only characters in this film is Bishop Barron and the cathedrals. I lean on my rapport with Bishop from knowing him for almost 20 years. You know, if you're talking about something you love and you're in a good mood, you're gonna get the best version of that, right? And so I focused a lot of my energy when I was with Bishop, is just like, okay, let's keep it light, let's keep it energetic. And so we get the best version of him talking about the cathedrals in every time you see him.
My role was to focus on filming the cathedrals as characters, and Rob's role was filming Bishop Barron as a character. And so as we split those up, it might be unconventional, I suppose, but it worked out really well in allowing us to focus on particular elements, which even worked out really well when we were there in person filming together.
These cathedrals are living and breathing. The cathedrals themselves are the main characters of this documentary. And so in order to really show them off, we wanted to show them throughout an entire year in different seasons. And so that meant coordinating the shoot dates along with weather seasons, you know, fall, winter, spring, and summer, but also a little bit with liturgical seasons too.
These cathedrals have been through a lot. They've been on the verge of being torn down, they've been bombed, they've been set on fire. There's been quite a bit. So a way to show them enduring these centuries is to show them throughout the seasons. And seeing it throughout these seasons allows you to sort of get the perspective that these have been around for a long time. These cathedrals, you know, were made hundreds of years ago, and they're built to endure for hundreds of years with the proper care and proper reverence for them, not just as beautiful buildings, but buildings that are meant to elevate and essentially lead you to the Mass. I mean, they're not made for anything else but for the Mass, although they are beautiful to observe.
From the beginning, when I was asked, well, what areas in the cathedrals do you want to film? My answer was pretty simple and annoying, I'm sure, to our producing team, which was all of it. I want to go everywhere. I want to film everywhere. Like, all of this is so important and it all plays a part. And so I didn't want them to be confined, and it was difficult to limit our cameras to certain areas. But that said, the realistic element of it was that we were filming in active and working churches in a lot of ways, that people were walking through, that they had to keep us out of the way, that they had to make sure we weren't distracting during Mass or disrupting a particular service that was going on.
One of the biggest challenges we had creatively when filming was specifically with Bishop Barron. They wouldn't allow us to essentially close things off or close off the cathedral. Like, okay, close it off, no one comes in, we're in there filming. Like, they have to remain open. So what we have to do is coordinate, especially on some of these wide shots. I think about Reims Cathedral specifically. It's massive, and so we had to have the local people that were helping us, the fixers and PAs, essentially like block people off, but you couldn't force the people to not walk. So it was like a lot of like, excuse me, you know, they're trying to do that. And we only have, I think, at the very most 3 takes with Bishop, and then we have to move on to the next thing. It was a very tight schedule for many reasons.
In order to film at these cathedrals that are both sacred sites and heritage sites, it's a very complex process. There are a lot of layers, there are a lot of entities to go through. You ask someone for permission and they say, sure, if this person gives permission. And then you ask that person for permission, they say, sure, if this person gives permission. And so it's very much a full conversation that needs to happen between all parties.
We have such a wonderful team that allows each person to specialize in what they are particularly good at, what they excel in. And it's just such a joy to get to work with other creative professionals who are masters at what they do. It elevates everything that we do, and I think without that, the piece would not turn out as amazing as it currently is.
The audiences are never going to see the crew on the screen, which makes sense. You didn't come there to see us, you came there to see these beautiful cathedrals. But every single person who worked on this production absolutely shaped what made it onto the screen. I do not take lightly that this project is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And our crew didn't take it lightly either.
I've been doing Catholic media for 19 years, and you can get a little bit just used to stuff, right? When someone's paying you money to do something, you have this expectation to you have business mode on. However, it was probably our third or fourth day in France, and we were at Reims Cathedral. I had lost my sister about 2 months prior, and it was a pretty open wound still. And I just felt a lot of emotions when I was there. I felt her presence there. I remember we had time in the morning before Bishop arrived, so I spent some time in adoration. And I think about her a lot in making this film, and I think the cathedral itself, I think I felt the power that the cathedrals were meant to elicit, to bring you closer to God. I really cherish the opportunity that this project has given me, and have a crossover from not just like a work thing, but something that feels very personal as well.
Even though these spaces are absolutely enormous, God finds us in both the big and the small. And I hope that the audience can just take that little sense of both awe and love with them wherever they go.
What stands out to me as something I'm most proud of is just that I don't think we screwed it up. That there's a lot of ways that we could have shown it where we could have walked away and said, yeah, that was nice, and just kind of kept going. But being able to share these beautiful buildings in a way that I think, as much as we possibly can on film, does them justice is something that I will be forever proud of.
In Spiritus, we've had the blessing to be able to film internationally for 10 plus years. And so we've had the experience and blessing to tell documentaries. This isn't our first documentary. And so I think all things that we've done have helped lead us to this point, which I think is probably one of the most significant pieces of film that we've done. I think what we've been doing for the past almost 20 years has trained us to execute this at the level that I think it needed to be. This is a huge at bat for us, and just really grateful for the opportunity to create this alongside Bishop Barron.